I'm Tarot Oracle. Thank you for joining me for another session of the complete Lenormand Course. So today we're talking about the child. So the child is card 13. This is spontaneity. This is childlike attributes, a carefree attitude, a zeal for life. If it's next to a person, it modifies the person more or less. Maybe childhood attributes apply to that person. Maybe the person, thinks creatively, maybe they have the carefree attitude, etc., etc. The child could also be a modification of small. So let's move these. For example, a small house. So it could be a small house. When you talk about work, there's three types of work. For example, we have the child, which is a gig. So let's say you play a band, you're going to play the restaurant this Thursday. That's a gig. It's a gig opportunity. It's a small job. It's a temporary job. It's a small work position type thing. So that is the child. The second one for work is the fox. The fox is 9 to 5. I go in, I work my day, I go home. It's a steady job, it's a full-time job, it's a good job, so it's a good position. It's going to be bigger than the gig, it's going to be a full-time position. The fish is an entrepreneurship. In other words, I work for myself. A lot of times when you work for yourself, you could be putting in 12 to 14 hours a day. So you have entrepreneur, 9 to 5, and gig jobs as far as the child is concerned. So obviously the child could represent someone's children as well. Maybe if this is the past and this is the future, then this person has kids in the past. Maybe that this person wants kids in the future. If it's off into the future, maybe they do want some kids, but they need to find the right person to have the kids with. So you'd have something like, loves children, but wants children in the future type thing, as well as the obvious part of the child if it's combined with, let's say, the stork. Well, I have the wrong card. If it's combined with the stork, for example, you could have a childbirth. So maybe someone has a pregnancy coming up, or maybe there's a pregnancy currently going on, so they want to know about that. You have a child combined with the stork. You could have these two cards together. Definitely points to either a pregnancy or an upcoming childbirth or something like that. Again, if you have work associated with this, this could be temporary work, starting a new business, something small type thing. So that is the child. And the next card is the fox. This is the sneaky fox, stealth, treachery, manipulation, being devious. So it's just not a good card. If it's in a work reading, though, again, you're looking at a 9 to 5 job type thing, just a full-time standard job. But if it has other cards around it, you could be looking at something quite negative, like treachery. Maybe this particular person is treacherous, is not exactly the best person to deal with. Maybe he's a little bit sneaky, and that's what you have the fox. The fox comes in when it's dark into the hen house and just starts eating hens, which is never a good thing. So the fox is definitely devious. You need to watch out for him. He's going to be sneaky. He's not going to sort of barrel in and just be really obvious that he's coming and he's got bad news or things like that. So definitely sneaky. He's definitely going to come in when you're not looking, and usually it's not good news, especially when you combine it with other cards. So let's say the fox is next to the snake. It's never going to be good, or the whip, or something like that. So you definitely want to watch out for the fox and figure out where it is and make sure it's not next to anybody important. Otherwise you could have some issues. Now you could combine this with, let's say, you have deviousness or a little bit of a sneakiness going on, but it's clouded. You're not really sure what's going on. Something bad is happening or something behind your back is going on, and yet it's just sort of clouded the issue. You're not really sure what it is, but they've definitely clouded themselves and shrouded themselves enough to where you can't figure out exactly what's going on with the sneakiness. You could have some news arrive. The news is about some treachery that's incoming. You could have this in your future possibly, or past. So if this is in your past, maybe you recovered from this. Maybe that you had some treachery in your past, and the treachery had to do with maybe a relationship or something like that. So you want to watch out for that. So if you have this in your past, then you've dealt with the treachery, you've dealt with the, the little bit of sneakiness from someone in your past. If it's in your future, you may have that coming. So let's say that you're buying a house, for example, if I can find the house. So you're buying a house, for example, and you have this in between you and the house. You could be looking at a little bit of sneakiness going on in the house. Maybe you want to inspect that house a little more than you thought. Maybe you want to go in and start looking through things that you didn't look through before. Maybe you want another walkthrough, right? And to take things into consideration. So there's something sneaky going in with the sale of that house. So the fox is usually not good news. But of course, if it's dealing with work, you're talking about a standard full-time job. So the 15th card is the bear. So the bear is different things depending upon what's around it. The first one is its power, its control, it's the authority figure. If you see the bear, it definitely has that strength, it definitely has all that stuff going on. So it's the authority figure. So when you're talking about authority figure, you could be talking about maybe the authority figure or a parent to a child, right? Or the authority figure over that particular household. So if you have a house, then it could be an authority figure over that household. Now, if you're at work, let's say it could be an authority figure at work. This could be your boss. Again, Fox, 9-to-5 job. This could be associated with upper management, an executive, maybe your boss, right? So it also represents money. So you may be looking at money as well. So you have money, power, and when I say money, we're talking about your income, your finances, all of your possessions and things like that. So you definitely, a bear is a good force to have around, right? A bear is very strong, it's going to be sturdy, it's going to be a powerful, immovable force, right? I mean, if you want a bear to move, you're not going to exactly get him and drag him out of the door type thing. So it's a big, strong, immovable force. And when that comes along, that could be authority figure, could be good. You could have a nice boss. You could have something to where you absolutely love your boss, right? So you have this love and happiness, and you're very happy, 9-to-5 job with your boss, and there's happiness in between you two. So that could be okay. When it comes to finances, maybe you have finance saving for a house. So here you have your finances and your possessions heading over to your house. Maybe it's taking a trip over to your house or something like that. So here we have your finances, your possessions, are taking a trip over to your house type thing. Now you could have interruptions as well with your finances, with your possessions, or with your power. You could have a cutting motion. You could have your finances being cut. That could mean a loss of a job. It could mean something happens to where your finances have a break or your finances have a cut. You could also have the same thing with a coffin to where your finances have a rebirth. So maybe we had a stock market crash and now you're recovering from that. So here it is. Here's your finances and your money. It hits sort of a rebirth or a dead end or something like that. And then after that we have the clover. So now you have good luck and good fortune. So you took a hit on the stock market, and now you're back, and now you're doing better, so you have that good luck and good fortune. So again, 3 things for the bear. It's going to be either your money, power and control, and or the bosses at work. So the upper management, maybe the senior executives and things like that. So look for any of those things when you see the bear, but overall it's a positive card. And number 16 is the stars. So most books agree that the stars are sort of a guiding light. They're guiding you towards something. So if you're kind of confused, maybe you're in the clouds, then the stars are going to clear the clouds up and guide you in a way that you need to go. So it's very similar to tarot. The stars give you guidance. The stars kind of tell you where to go as well. And it's also happiness and dreams and hopes and things like that. So your head's in the stars, you know, you're looking, all these dreams and fun things you can do up there, whatever. So that's the stars. Now, one book says that stars are like a spice. So you know how you have a pasta and you'd be eating the pasta, you'd be like, this sure could use some salt. So the stars operate as a spice as well in one of the books. So meaning the cards around it, so let's say that you have good fortune, and then right after that you have the stars. So that's going to enhance or spice up a little bit the good fortune, and then you're going to have a little bit more. So if you think your good fortune's over, if you think you're kind of hitting a wall with that, then the stars are going to enhance that and make that a little better. Now, the stars in that book also represent recovery. So let's say you have some bad words, let's say you have some deceit or what have you, and you're trying to recover from that, the stars help. The stars will give you a little added seasoning and let you move forward away from that and sort of start a recovery process. So similar to guiding the way over here, you definitely have the stars to get you to where you want to go and to carry you on with that recovery process. Now, when the stars are near someone, they could be moderately famous. You could have someone that you meet and you didn't really know they were famous, and you go on the net or whatever and find out this person actually has, you know, quite a bit of things going on. So they're famous. So obviously the person's a star, right? So that's the other meaning that I see in many of the books as well. So if you see this in the future, you're looking at harmony, you're looking at calmness, everything's going to be okay. If you have a bad situation, you could be moving towards recovery, and that is the stars. And lastly, we have the stork. Now, the stork represents fertility, productivity, fruitfulness. It's change and movement. Now, we did have another card as well for change, and that was the coffin. You remember? So the coffin is like an ending, is a change to where something is ending and then something else is beginning, right? So you'll have the coffin and then you'll have happiness. So something is ending and then you have obviously the change, and then you have happiness afterwards. Everything's going to be all right. You're going to recover, right? But the stork represents more of a possibly like a sudden change, or change in your surroundings, change in your job, maybe a move and things like that. So it's sort of an upgrade. So it's a 2.0. So if you had a job, let's say you're at your 9-to-5 job, and you have a stork after it, you could be looking at job 2.0, right? You get a little bit of an upgrade. So if you're looking for that little upgrade at your job, maybe a promotion, maybe a raise, maybe moving to that desk that you've always wanted or whatever, you could be looking at that. So it's a good change. It's not like a hard-ending change like the coffin. This is sort of an upgrade. So work 2.0, right? So you could be looking at something like that. So maybe luck 2.0. I have no idea. But so obviously the stork, in most American contexts and stories, the stork brings in babies. So if you're looking at maybe a child next to the stork, or the stork bringing a child, so the stork and then a child, you could be looking at childbirth. You could be looking at pregnancy or something like that. Especially if you have a woman card somewhere around there, you definitely, I mean, this is really, really in your face pregnancy and childbirth, right? The woman, stork, and it brings a baby. So this is going to be a spread. If you ever see this, that definitely only says one thing. So, but the stork does represent change, and it not only represents maybe childbirth, but again with the job, maybe job 2.0. Maybe if you have some toxic things in your life, maybe this will free it up, or make the change to where you don't have to worry about this anymore. So maybe you have the toxic thing in your life, and then you have the stork, and then you have good fortune. So it looks like the toxic thing is going away. So maybe you have a reading, somebody says, hey, got a lot of crap going on at work, what's going on, what's happening? Well, you're about to have an upgrade, you're about to have a change, and you have good luck and good fortune coming after that as well. So definitely a great card to have in any reading, the stork. And lastly is the dog, man's best friend. It symbolizes friendship, protection, guidance, like Lassie, loyalty, and fidelity as well. So if you have this in a relationship, around a bunch of relationship cards, you could be looking at a soulmate. This is just my opinion. This is not in any books. Just my opinion. The dog is like the lifelong friend. It's one of those things to where not only do you have a relationship where it's good sex and everybody's happy with that and such, but when you introduce a dog into a relationship or into a commitment, etc., then you could be looking at soulmates, in my opinion. So if there's one way to tell, again, my opinion, from the relationship cards, obviously things like this, the heart, the ring, a man in your life, when you introduce the dog, I think you're looking possibly at a soulmate. Not only a commitment, but something to where that it's really a nice overall rounding to the relationship. Now the dog obviously means friendship as well, and you could have things like maybe a friendship ending, a cut in a friendship. So you've been arguing with your friend, you've been having troubles, it may be time to cut off communication with the friend for a while, or maybe it's a friendship coming to an end. If you have the coffin, so you have a friendship and then you have the ending, sort of a transition into a new beginning or something like that. So you could also have a friendship that brings luck. So you take your friend to the casino and hey, you could win some money. So somebody asked me, hey, my friend wants to come to the casino with me, what should I do? Now I have friend and then extreme luck. Definitely bring your friend along on this particular thing right here. So then you have the stars. We could combine the friend with guidance. Maybe your friend has given you some advice. You're not really sure about it, but with the stars, maybe that is a way to guide you into what they're saying. They could have a very good point. You could mix this with a tree for maybe your friend's health or your friend's legacy or their place within the family tree and things like that. Could have your friend's house. So I need to know, I want a reading. Part of the reading is, I want to know where we should have the Super Bowl party. My friend says he wants it there and I want it at my house. Maybe you're pointing at your friend's house. So it's basically friendship and good things, companionship. The dog is just a very helpful, not only a friend, but a very helpful card as well. He's going to be able to guide you when you need the guidance. He's going to be there to comfort you, literally man's best friend. And that concludes part 3. Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and enjoying some Lenormand. We've been having tons of fun. So I'll try to post part 4 shortly. And thank you again for hanging out with me. Thank you so much.